This is KVUE News at 6.
With Greg Kelly's conviction in question, one of the jurors who convicted him talks about how he had doubts from the very beginning.
But who? The finger was never pointed at anybody else at all.
What he's saying about where the case stands now.
A blank slate and a new plan. What's next at the site of an East Austin mural?
Hi everyone, I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. A juror in the Greg Kelly case says he's tormented by his own decision to convict the former high school football star of sexually assaulting a 4-year-old boy.
He says every day he thinks about Kelly, who is now trying to get his conviction overturned because of new evidence. But there is someone else he thinks about as well. KVUE defender and Austin American-Statesman reporter Tony Plohetsky is the only reporter to talk to the juror since the new evidence emerged. He joins us now with this exclusive.
Mike and Quita, that juror says he now believes there are 2 victims in this case. There's the 4-year-old boy who he believes was in fact sexually assaulted. And there is Greg Kelly himself, who he says is serving a 25-year prison sentence for a crime he is convinced Kelly did not do. The juror talked to me at length about his own experiences with the case, but would do so only on the condition that we not use his name or show his face. He still lives in Leander, where Kelly went to high school, and has kids who attend the same school where Kelly went. During Kelly's trial in 2014, the juror says he wondered if someone else assaulted the boy.
But who? The finger was never pointed at anybody else at all.
And he says he thinks about the boy and how all of these new developments may be affecting him.
You just have to let him grow, stand beside him emotionally, make sure that he understands that nothing he did was his fault.
Prosecutors say they now think it is possible Kelly's best friend, Jonathan McCarty, may have done the crime. Kelly's defense lawyers have presented evidence that McCarty confessed to 2 people after Kelly's conviction. Court documents filed by Kelly's attorneys also say McCarty had pictures of nude children on his phone and his computer. Kelly has a hearing in August to try to get his conviction overturned based on this new evidence. Meanwhile, Jonathan McCarty is in jail for probation violation on drug charges. He has not been charged with anything stemming from the case. Now, coming up tonight at 10, I asked the juror what he would say to Greg Kelly if he ever met him. I'll have that on KVUE News Night Beat. Mike and Quita.
Thanks, Tony. And Tony has been leading the way covering the Kelly case with breaking developments from the time the DA reopened the case last month. He sat down with Kelly for the first prison interview with him and was there as Kelly was brought back to Williamson County last Tuesday. Stay with KVUE to bring you breaking news first and on TV and online.
Governor Greg Abbott signed the state budget into law today, but not before making a few cuts. The governor vetoed about $120 million worth of items. Governor Abbott touted the budget as addressing the most pressing challenges facing Texas while keeping state spending below the rate of population growth and inflation. Today is the last day the public can weigh in on the state's plan to ask the federal government for money to fund its women's health program. And some Texans are taking their complaints against the idea straight to the governor. KVUE political reporter Ashley Godot is live at the Capitol. And Ashley, advocates for Planned Parenthood, well, they're against the idea.
Now, Quita, the program the state wants to expand doesn't allow Planned Parenthood to be a provider. So those advocates see an expansion of the program as another attempt to shut down Planned Parenthood health centers. Armed with 15,000 letters and petitions from people across Texas.
Hi, my name is Vanna. I'm a volunteer for Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood advocates want the governor to know what they think about a plan to expand the Healthy Texas Women program.
Healthy Texas Women, most people don't know what it is. They're trying to put in something new to replace something that isn't broke, that is trustworthy.
The Health and Human Services Commission plans to submit a waiver asking the federal government to expand the program. We asked HHS for an interview about it. They told us no. According to the Healthy Texas Women website, the program provides health and family planning services at no cost to low-income women ages 15 to 44. But there's a caveat. The health care providers in the program have to follow the state policy of favoring childbirth and not offering abortions. That means Planned Parenthood is barred from the program.
Unfortunately, the program that Texas has proposed is driven by political decisions rather than how can we actually make sure women get the health care that they need.
Sarah Wheat, spokesperson for Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas, says the state's program doesn't match up to the care provided by Planned Parenthood.
The number of women that get served today through these programs is not what it used to be, and studies, public health data continues to show that women really have a hard time accessing the health care they need in Texas, especially uninsured low-income women.
And there are concerns about the precedent the Trump administration will set if it grants the state's waiver.
We completely support any efforts that are going to expand health care. Our concern is once you start putting in political goals into a women's health care program, then you start to block access to those services.
While the Healthy Texas Women program was created in 2016, its history dates back to 2013. That's when the state lawmakers wanting to cut off state funding to Planned Parenthood over abortions waived federal funding for the Medicaid Women's Health Program and created its own program. They have since evolved into Healthy Texas Women. Live at the Capitol, Ashley Goodo, KVUE News.
The Austin School Board meets tonight to take a look at plans to put a nearly $1 billion budget, that's billion with a B, on the November ballot. The proposal calls for a little more than $989 million worth of projects that includes rebuilds of 4 existing elementary schools, renovation projects at several other schools, and a couple of other brand new schools. We'll be at that board meeting tonight with details on the night beat. That's after the game tonight. Now to continuing coverage of a story we first brought you this weekend. A man and his unborn baby killed and the mother in critical condition after a suspected drunk driver hit the motorcycle they were riding on.
KVUE's Christy Millward is live at Dell Seton Medical Center. And Christy, Stephanie Soto, she's still being treated for her injuries.
Mike and Quita, she is. We're told she had surgery here at the hospital today, and doctors now feel they may have to amputate her leg. Now, her boyfriend who died in that wreck, Raul Diaz, his mother was here today, just wanting to hear about those last moments of his life. Now, Patricia Morales says her son didn't have a motorcycle and wasn't at this weekend's ROT rally. She says he borrowed the motorcycle from a friend for a joyride. Now, she tells me she heard about the wreck on the news, but at first didn't think it was her son. Morales says she was excited to become a grandmother, and Raul was happy to become a dad. Now, we also spoke to one of Raul's close friends today who has known him since high school.
He was a funny guy, big-hearted guy, and very emotional guy. But I knew that he did love his sister and his mom very, very much.
Now, because of medical and funeral expenses, friends of both families have created GoFundMe pages. You can find both of those on our website at KVUE.com. Now, as for the driver of the truck who hit them on the motorcycle, he is now facing charges of intoxication manslaughter and intoxication assault. He is still in the Travis County Jail on a bond of $2 million. Live in downtown, Christy Millward, KVUE News.
Christy, thank you. And jail records also show that driver, Cesar Corona Quitiero, is being held on an ICE detainer. We're checking with ICE to see what, if any, history they have with him. They're looking into it. And we do know he has some previous convictions, according to public records online, one for indecent exposure in 2003, another for driving with an invalid license last year.
Ready or not, the summer heat building into central Texas today. Temperatures reached the mid-90s, felt even warmer than that when you factor in the humidity, like the upper 90s. Here's what it looks like outside. Still very hot. Temperatures still in the low to mid-90s, 94 at Berksham, 93 at Camp Mabry. But again, with the humidity a touch high, 96 feeling like at Berksham, 94 at Camp Mabry. But those humidity levels only going to go higher as we head towards midweek. And those temperatures are going to soar a little bit as well. So we're going to be looking at triple-digit heat index values for much of this week. We'll take a look at that full forecast in a few minutes.
Thanks, Nathan.